The deeper you think, the more alone you feel. Every time you gain a new insight, does anyone truly want to listen? This isn't an illusion unique to you. History proves humanity has always been wary of deep thinkers. It's not a fault, but their unsettling ability to see what others deliberately choose to ignore. The annals of history bear witness to this. From Socrates to Nietzsche, Galileo to Tesla, great geniuses were all once ridiculed, oppressed, or forgotten. Their fate wasn't due to their shortcomings, but because their penetrating insights stirred deep discomfort in others. Arthur Schopenhauer, the outspoken philosopher, once argued that intellect itself is a profound tragedy, a tragedy that plunges those who see through the world into the depths of loneliness. So what is the root of this recurring phenomenon? What causes the majority to turn away from unconventional ideas? This mystery lies deep within the labyrinth of human psychology. Let's reflect on this. When you stand next to someone with extraordinary physical strength, you don't feel weak, do you? On the contrary, you often marvel at that superior strength. Encountering someone extremely wealthy, you might feel a pang of envy, but you won't feel personally attacked. Yet when faced with a superior intellect, a peculiar phenomenon occurs. This interesting phenomenon is called the mirror effect by psychologists. Profound intellect doesn't merely stop at exploring new ideas. Instead, they sharply reflect the inherent limitations of those around them. Such a stark truth is rarely, if ever, forgiven. The mere presence of a profound intellect is enough to make others feel inferior, even without a single word being uttered. But what ignites this unsettling phenomenon? Why does intellect, more than any other perceived form of superiority, provoke such profound unease? To truly understand this mystery, let's explore how our minds interpret different forms of dominance. When confronted with superior physical strength, we often view that individual as a potential leader or protector. If someone possesses greater wealth, we might applaud their achievements or harbor aspirations to emulate their success. These characteristics, strength, wealth, charisma, are inherently external factors. While it's easy to accept their existence, they don't threaten our core self. However, the realm of intellect operates on an entirely different plane. In stark contrast to mere physical strength or material affluence, intellect is intimately tied to our very human essence. Our core essence is shaped by our thoughts, deep-seated beliefs, and understanding of the world. Therefore, encountering an individual who thinks on a much deeper level, someone who dares to question our most ingrained assumptions, can feel like a direct assault on the self. Instead of embracing or admiring profound intellect, many individuals unconsciously recoil from it. This isn't due to arrogance or disdain from the deep thinker, but because their presence forces others to confront their own inherent limitations. This core truth explains why, throughout history, profound thinkers have always been marginalized by society. Their profound insights don't merely challenge established ideas, they directly confront and threaten ingrained egos. It's human nature. We go to great lengths to shield our ego from any sign of insecurity. Pause for a moment and delve into your personal memories. Have you ever tried to inject a profound idea into a casual conversation, only to be met with blank stares or awkward silence? Have you noticed how quickly they steer the conversation in another direction the moment it goes beyond superficial pleasantries? This is no coincidence. It's a deeply ingrained psychological defense mechanism. When confronted with profound thought, the human mind instinctively erects a defensive shield. Instead of embracing curiosity, they erect walls of resistance. They don't engage in dialogue, they simply dismiss the ideas. This dynamic explains why intellectuals, philosophers, and visionaries often find themselves isolated. Their isolation is not a choice, but a bitter consequence of being ostracized by society. It's noteworthy that studies consistently show confidence often prevails over intellect in social settings. People are inherently captivated by those who exude unwavering confidence, no matter how shallow their ideas. This phenomenon reveals why charismatic yet simplistic minds gain far greater influence than profound, nuanced intellects. History has demonstrated this through countless examples. Consider demagogues, motivational speakers, or influencers. They succeed by echoing popular opinions rather than encouraging critical self-reflection. Conversely, individuals who dare to challenge widely accepted beliefs often struggle to reach a broad audience. This is the harsh paradox of intellect. The deeper they delve into the pursuit of truth, the more they become alienated from the collective consciousness. This phenomenon doesn't merely reflect society's limitations. It clearly exposes the profound reasons for society's inherent resistance to transformation. However, a crucial question remains unanswered. If intelligence is truly a great danger, does science have any evidence to validate humanity's primal fear? Modern neuroscience has strongly confirmed this assertion. Research reveals a shocking truth. When feeling less intelligent, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, explodes with intense activity. Profound thinking is not merely a matter of fear. Instead, it activates primal survival instincts, reflecting the terror of facing imminent danger. But why does intelligence evoke such deep-seated fear? The profound answer lies within the complex evolutionary process of the human brain. Throughout human history, survival depended not on superior intellect, but on collective acceptance. Our ancestors thrived in tribal structures, where collective harmony equated to ultimate security. Exclusion from the group meant doom, as isolation inevitably led to extreme vulnerability. This fundamental truth explains why the human brain is programmed to prioritize social acceptance over intellectual pursuits. When an individual of profound intellect emerges, they inadvertently disrupt the delicate balance of the tribe. Their presence challenges established ideas, ingrained social norms, and the complex dynamics of the group. This activates the brain's primal defense mechanisms, reacting as if facing a potential adversary, not merely a more profound intellect. This explains why many profound thinkers experience deep isolation, not due to a lack of social skills, but because their sheer intellect makes them stand out starkly in a world that values conformity over individuality. A groundbreaking 2021 study at Stanford University revealed an even more astonishing truth. It turns out, the perception of profound thinkers is entirely dependent on the specific context. When individuals interact directly, one-on-one with an intellectual, their sense of threat significantly diminishes. However, in a group setting, this threat response dramatically escalates, reaching alarming levels. What lies beneath? In a group setting, social status reigns supreme. People don't just react based on pure intellect. Instead, their reactions are governed by how they believe others perceive them, rather than by their own self-assessment. When feeling overshadowed by a profound intellect, instinct drives them to undermine or eliminate that person, solely to protect their own social standing. This phenomenon clarifies why deep thinkers easily find genuine dialogue in private, but struggle to communicate in broader social settings. Psychologists have identified numerous cognitive biases, revealing why intellect often faces fierce resistance. The Dunning-Kruger effect exposes a bitter truth. Incompetent individuals often overestimate their own intelligence, while truly intelligent people grapple with self-doubt. This dynamic inevitably leads to significant conflict. Those with superficial knowledge often mistakenly believe they possess deeper insights, and consequently dismiss profound thinkers outright. Status quo bias. Human instinct always gravitates towards the familiar, shying away from new, complex truths. Intellect, by its very nature, often generates profound, groundbreaking ideas, which inevitably causes discomfort. Consider the backfire effect. When confronted with information that contradicts deeply held beliefs, people stubbornly refuse to change their views. On the contrary, they become even more entrenched in their existing opinions. Profound intellects frequently encounter similar resistance when they boldly propose game-changing ideas. In the digital age, social media platforms have significantly amplified the public's rejection of intellect. Algorithms consistently prioritize engagement over depth, causing controversial, emotional content to spread rapidly, far outpacing profound, reasoned arguments. Just look at the most viral content. Concise, memorable, yet often misleading statements always prevail, overshadowing deep, nuanced conversations. Ironically, the more intelligent people are, the harder they find it to condense profound ideas into easily digestible, shareable content. The world increasingly celebrates entertainment over intellect, making it hard for profound minds to gain the recognition they deserve. So, what severe consequences must deep thinkers endure? The contempt for intellect is not just a simple social phenomenon. It has become deeply embedded in our biology, psychology, and cultural structure. It is an inherent part of human existence, reinforced by group dynamics and powerfully amplified by modern technology. This is not a plea for profound minds to cease sharing knowledge, but a clear imperative. They must comprehend the formidable forces working against them. If society actively shuns true intellect, then what is it wholeheartedly embracing? The chilling answer, the appeal of comfort, a world where the soothing illusion of predictability reigns, eclipsing the harsh, naked truth. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher renowned for his uncompromising honesty, presented a radical view. He argued that intelligence is not a blessing, but a profound suffering. Many thinkers praise intellect as the ultimate path to success, but Schopenhauer argued that the sharper one's mind, the more deeply one must face societal alienation. So, what lies at the core of this paradox, transforming keen intelligence into an unbearable burden? Schopenhauer's philosophical core revolves around the concept of will, a primal, irrational force that relentlessly drives all human actions. He asserted that the vast majority of humanity lives enslaved by the will to live, ceaselessly pursuing pleasure, comfort, and mere survival, above all other aspirations. However, individuals with profound intellect take a completely different path. Instead of surrendering to primal instincts, they cultivate the will to truth, an unquenchable desire to comprehend reality, regardless of the profound discomfort it may bring. While the masses are preoccupied with fleeting pleasures and avoiding harsh realities, deep thinkers relentlessly pursue truth, even if it promises only suffering and solitude. This stark difference deepens an irreconcilable chasm between the intellectual elite and the broader societal structure. While the majority seek meaning in social relationships, fleeting pleasures, and mundane comforts, deep thinkers often feel disillusioned, viewing these as mere distractions from the profound existential questions that truly matter. Schopenhauer argued that the more profoundly one understands human nature, the harder it becomes to forge genuine connections with others. They possess an uncanny ability to see through lies and pretense. Consequently, most social interactions become mere superficial conversations and subtle power games. Coupled with polite falsehoods, this creates an environment where deep thinkers, who prioritize naked truth over all appearances, often find themselves completely out of place, unable to integrate. The world celebrates simplicity, yet they yearn for depth. The masses seek small talk, yet they long for profound dialogue. Consequently, everyday communication becomes a burden, pushing them into deep boredom or profound isolation. They see through the inherent emptiness, the futility of all human desires. Schopenhauer famously asserted, "Desires and ambitions are mere deceptive illusions." He believed the masses relentlessly pursue the fleeting specters of wealth, power, and relationships. But profound souls dare to question the core nature, the ultimate purpose of these incessant pursuits. This often makes them seem aloof, even indifferent to the fervent passions of the majority. Thus, the wise are often deeply misunderstood, profoundly alienated, and even hated. Their very existence forces others to confront unsettling, uncomfortable truths about themselves. And the masses would rather desperately avoid such a stark confrontation. Schopenhauer famously likened profound intellect to an acutely heightened perception, a blessing that often transforms into a cruel curse. As he once wrote, "The higher the intellect, the harder it is for a person to integrate into society." His core reasoning was remarkably simple. The deeper your understanding, the harder it is to ignore. The more aware you become of the world's inherent flaws, the harder it is to find true happiness within its embrace. The deeper one's contemplation, the more profound and isolating the solitude becomes. For Schopenhauer, happiness and wisdom existed in a distinct inverse relationship. He believed that true happiness lay not in wisdom, but in the comforting embrace of ignorance. This profound insight explains why deep thinkers throughout history, such as Nietzsche, Pascal, and Kafka, often grappled with profound depression, agonizing existential crises, and harsh social isolation. Schopenhauer didn't just expose the problem, he also offered a way out. He believed that while superior intellect often brings solitude, great minds possess the key to transcending that isolation. Harnessing the power of solitude. Schopenhauer viewed solitude not as a harsh punishment, but as a precious gift. He encouraged great minds to transform moments of solitude into peaks of wisdom and creativity, instead of chasing fleeting recognition. Connecting with kindred spirits. Instead of forcing themselves to conform to societal norms, Schopenhauer urged intelligent individuals to seek intellectual kindred spirits, be it through books, profound philosophies, or elite intellectual communities. Guiding the world with profound insight, he cautioned against casting pearls of wisdom before those unprepared to receive them. Instead, he encouraged thinkers to keenly observe society, decipher its complex rhythms, and use sharp, precise language. His timeless wisdom remains a guiding light for great minds today, grappling with the pain of social ostracism. Although intellect may bring the shadow of loneliness, it also bestows precious gifts, freedom, profound wisdom, and an unparalleled understanding of life's truths. Schopenhauer clearly saw intelligence as a formidable double-edged sword, bestowing both ultimate power and agonizing torment. While it grants a sharp insight into stark reality, it creates an unbridgeable chasm between them and those clinging to cherished illusions. Ultimately, Schopenhauer's profound philosophy merely confirms the unsettling truths we've harbored in the depths of our doubts. Society doesn't fear intelligence. It recoils in horror from the stark truths it mercilessly exposes. Profound thinkers are not dismissed for their mistakes, but condemned for revealing truths too soon, before the world is ready to face them. So, if the weight of thought has ever made you feel alone, listen to this truth. You are not broken. You are simply blessed, or cursed, with a clear vision of the world in its stark, uncompromising truth. But does this harsh truth condemn great minds to a fate of permanent, inescapable isolation? Is there a secret path that allows us to navigate the social maze while fully retaining our intellectual depth? The harsh truth is laid bare. Society has no room for profound ideas. Its very foundation is built solely on stability. Humans crave comfort more than truth. This innate desire explains why superficial conversations, simplistic ideas, and endlessly repetitive content dominate the social sphere. What makes us prioritize comfort over deep intellectual exploration? Why does society vehemently resist change, even when it promises a brighter, more progressive future? The profound answer lies within the very structure of human psychology and how invisible institutions shape our minds from early childhood. The primal brain constantly craves certainty and predictability. Evolution has programmed us to recoil from mental discomfort, a psychological phenomenon known as cognitive ease. Cognitive ease makes the brain gravitate towards simple, familiar information that requires minimal mental energy. But when an idea is complex, nuanced, or entirely unfamiliar, the brain immediately perceives it as a challenge, or even a threat. This is system justification theory in action. It explains why individuals fiercely defend the established order, even when that very system undermines their own well-being. Instead of challenging authority or confronting outdated beliefs, the majority choose rationalization, because the very thought of change feels too uncertain. This is the insidious grip of groupthink. People would rather conform to collective beliefs than risk social rejection by daring to challenge them. This innate tendency explains why the vast majority often recoil from intellectual dissent even when bolstered by undeniable facts. This deep psychological inclination, prioritizing comfort over intricate complexity, is why brilliant intellectuals, profound philosophers, and pioneering scientists often struggle to gain widespread acceptance, especially during their lifetime. Now let us turn our gaze to the vast, interconnected digital world of today. Who truly captures the most fervent attention across the vast landscape of social media? Not the profound intellectual, but the master of simplification, who distills complex concepts into viral sound bites that offer instant gratification. Thought-provoking discussions struggle to gain traction, as depth demands time and reflection. Meanwhile, viral content delivers instant gratification, raw emotion, and is easily digestible. Algorithms relentlessly reward engagement. Nothing sparks attention more powerfully than controversy, outrage, or humor, potent forces that push rational intellectual discourse to the sidelines. Consequently, insidious echo chambers form, where individuals are exposed only to information that reinforces their existing beliefs, making them highly resistant to any challenging new perspectives. Great minds who dare to challenge tradition often face rejection, misunderstanding, and even hostility. The rejection of these profound ideas isn't limited to the digital world. The roots of this rejection run deep within the very institutions that shape our thinking, schools and workplaces. While educational institutions claim to value intellect, they actually prioritize conformity over independent thought. Those who merely absorb and repeat are promoted, while those who dare to question and challenge norms are labeled as troublemakers. The business world doesn't truly value exceptional or pioneering talent. Instead, it celebrates those who easily fit in and maintain the existing order. Visionaries who speak uncomfortable truths often lose out to those who simply echo popular opinions. This explains why history's greatest minds were often ostracized in their own time. Their groundbreaking ideas were seen as threats, not valuable contributions. Humanity claims to celebrate intellect, ingenuity, and critical thinking, but only when they are no longer threatening and are accepted by the majority. Let's look at some classic examples. Galileo was imprisoned for his groundbreaking discoveries, but is now celebrated as a scientific giant. Van Gogh died in poverty, though his paintings are now worth millions of dollars. Nikola Tesla transformed the foundations of energy, yet lived and died in obscurity. When intellect dares to break the rules, society turns its back. Recognition only comes when its disruptive power has faded, no longer posing a threat. So if great minds struggle for acceptance, what path remains for them? If you've ever felt alone because your profound thoughts were misunderstood, know that you walk alongside giants. Throughout history, many of the greatest minds went unrecognized in their own time. Contempt, relentless oppression, or cold indifference besieged them. Their ideas were deemed dangerous, unsettling, or simply beyond the grasp of contemporary society. A singular truth bound these brilliant minds together. Their vision transcended time. Ironically, it was these very insights that tormented them. Socrates, the progenitor of Western thought, dedicated his life to challenging all dogma. He championed critical thinking, the examination of beliefs, and the elevation of reason over blind adherence to custom. Yet instead of being celebrated for his wisdom, he was charged with corrupting the youth and impiety towards the gods. What then was his true crime? Encouraging minds to reach their own conclusions. Socrates, despite having the opportunity to escape, chose to drink the hemlock, steadfastly refusing to betray his convictions. His immortal declaration before his demise, "An unexamined life is not worth living," his ultimate sacrifice served as an undeniable warning. Society fears those who dare to challenge its foundations. Galileo's only crime was discovering the truth. His proof that the earth revolved around the sun shattered centuries of deeply entrenched religious doctrine. The church, holding a monopoly on knowledge, condemned him as a heretic. Under threat of torture, he was forced to publicly recant his groundbreaking discoveries. Though now revered as the most brilliant scientist, his life was spent under the shadow of house arrest. His monumental work remained forbidden for nearly a century. Galileo's tragedy exposed a harsh truth. Self-evident truths are still rejected if they threaten the established order. Nietzsche's ideas were considered too radical, profoundly disrupting all contemporary notions. He declared, "Conventional morality is flawed, society is built on sweet lies, and true power comes from shaping one's own principles." At the time, these concepts were entirely beyond the public's comprehension. He was immediately labeled a madman. His profound works were completely ignored or severely distorted. However, today, Nietzsche's profound philosophies have permeated psychology, literature, and existential thought. His concepts of power, will, and morality now shape contemporary philosophy, illustrating how society often rejects its greatest minds, only to fully embrace them generations later. Nikola Tesla, a pioneer with a vision far ahead of his time. He envisioned a world of free, limitless energy, pioneered wireless electricity, and conceived technological leaps that could completely transform human civilization. However, society, especially those in power, viewed his groundbreaking concepts as an immeasurable threat. Industrial magnates, notably Thomas Edison and J.P. Morgan, had amassed immense fortunes from the commercialization of electricity. Thus, Tesla's revolutionary vision of free energy was ruthlessly suppressed. Despite his extraordinary genius, Tesla died alone in a modest hotel room, forgotten and penniless, while others brazenly profited from his stolen innovations. His tragic life clearly illustrates a societal trend, valuing shrewd entrepreneurs and cunning marketers over true groundbreaking pioneers. Alan Turing's groundbreaking cryptographic efforts played a pivotal role, decisively ending World War II. His extraordinary talent in deciphering enemy codes directly saved millions of lives. His pioneering theoretical contributions to computing laid a solid foundation for the advent of modern artificial intelligence. However, instead of receiving due acclaim, he faced relentless persecution solely because of his private life. In 1952, a harsh verdict sentenced him to chemical castration for homosexuality, leading to his tragic suicide at 41. Now, Alan Turing is honored worldwide as a true hero. Ironically, the society of his time cruelly rejected and completely overlooked his extraordinary contributions. While history often only records the names of male thinkers, Hypatia of Alexandria shines as a rare exception. This multi-talented female scholar bravely challenged the male-dominated intellectual landscape of ancient Rome. Her teachings on scientific reasoning and logical thinking led her into an inevitable confrontation with the religious authorities of her time. By 415 AD, a fanatical mob brutally murdered her, viewing her as a serious threat to their power. Her tragedy revealed a profound pattern, repeated throughout the ages. Intellectual enlightenment always faces fierce, even violent resistance. Each of these great minds inevitably met a similar tragic end. They dared to expose ideas too radical for their time. Throughout their lives, they endured contempt, ridicule, or harsh punishments. Nevertheless, their pioneering ideas ultimately laid a solid foundation for humanity's progress. What society truly fears is not intelligence itself. Instead, it fears the profound implication that intellect brings: transformation. From this, we are compelled to contemplate a crucial question. If history consistently shows society opposing great minds, what will you do if you are one of them? Does this mean that great minds are inevitably destined for solitude? Absolutely not. It merely highlights the necessity of mastering the art of wisely navigating society's complexities. A readiness for profound dialogue is rare, both among individuals and in society. Only impart the most profound insights to the rare souls who truly value them. Who you are doesn't need the masses to understand. Only a select few truly matter. Seek kindred spirits, even if their voices echo from ancient books, digital spaces, or intellectual forums. Historical geniuses have paved the way, making the most profound concepts accessible to everyone. Einstein famously said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." Master the art of conveying profound knowledge without overwhelming those around you. Schopenhauer asserted, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius recognizes and hits a target completely invisible to the ordinary eye." A profound thinker sees the world through a different lens, a vision that will surely disturb the complacent. Don't let any discomfort hinder your profound intellectual journey. Society intensely craves the wisdom of its deepest thinkers. It just doesn't yet know how to truly embrace their transformative power. If deep thinking has ever made you an outsider, remember this truth: you are never truly alone. While society may recoil from profound minds, it is they who have relentlessly driven human progress. If these words resonate with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been rejected for daring to think deeply? Let's initiate an important conversation together. If you crave more profound insights from history's greatest minds, hit the subscribe button. Our profound journey indeed has only just begun.